You're probably wondering, why did I just pull out a chef's knife from the drawer? I should know better, right? Well, let me introduce you to Mr. Dull. He's going to be the star of today's show. Mr. Dull is really, really dull. Actually, this knife can't cut anything. It is purposely left dull and damaged so I can showcase it in videos and use it for knife sharpening techniques and things like that. Now, he's making a special guest appearance because today we are going to be looking at a product that promises to be revolutionary. This is the new Dalstrong Hornet, a 3-stage knife sharpening system. This video is not sponsored. The Dalstrong Hornet was bought with my own money, and I'm doing this video because you guys asked for it. So honestly, I do get the appeal of this thing, right? It's a fast, convenient way to sharpen your knives. And it's making some pretty bold claims, right? It is saying that it's going to be just as good, if not better, than using sharpening stones. Now that I'm not sure of. But the Hornet really does offer a few features that make it kind of stand out with these typical like knife sharpening things that you see on Amazon. The big one is it actually has three sharpening wheels, and you can do wet sanding. Now that is a big deal. See, the sharpening wheels from Dalstrong actually make a lot of sense. They're going to give you a really coarse sharpening wheel, 180 grit, and that's literally going to restore a very dull edge. And then they're going to give you a 400 grit. The 400 grit's a little bit more for routine sharpening. And next, they're going to give you 600 grit. Now, 600 grit's for fine honing. And like I said, you do sharpen with the assistance of water. Like most Dalstrong products, it is very nicely packaged, right? Really showcasing the product. When you take it out, there it is greeting you with all of its glory. Dalstrong has always been really good at marketing their products. I mean, everybody knows that. And here's the unit itself. Now, it is made out of aluminum alloy, and you do get this like rubber grip thing all around it to kind of secure it in place. I do appreciate that they also have it on the bottom, so if you are putting it on a countertop, it actually stays put. Good overall design, nice and high, it's not too low, and the wheels, I can kind of look at them here, they look fairly big and they're angled. This kind of looks like it's going to be a typical Japanese 15 degrees, maybe 18 degrees, something like that. I actually got to look that up. 15 degrees, I was right. To access the wheels, you literally just pop the cover off, and there they are. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. How much do these ceramic wheels cost? And how often do you have to change them? Now, looking at them, there's a pretty good amount of material in here. I would think they'd probably last for years. If you're like me and you have a lot of knives, maybe a year, year and a half. But ceramic is incredibly brittle, and I can see these breaking. To answer your question, I have no idea how much replacement wheels cost. That could be a major downside. So all good so far, right? Well, not necessarily. Here's my hesitation. I've bought one of these before, a really, really long time ago. Now, not a Dalstrong one, but something similar. We've all seen these guys. This is a particular one that was fairly expensive. I think it was in like the $50 range back in the day, about 10 years ago. It's made out of stainless steel. I've had it about 10 years. It has not held up very well. It's already began rusting. There's a lot of issues with this, but it offered a coarse grit sanding wheel and a fine grit, but it never worked properly. It never left my knives having a great edge. Even for routine maintenance, I didn't really like it too much, right? I always found that a honing rod did just fine as far as upkeeping my knives and just keeping up with regular maintenance. These work great. I'm not really sure what to think. Let's test it out. So Mr. Dull is just that. He's really dull. We're going to have to put him through all 3 of the sharpening wheels, starting with the most coarse. But of course, before we do any of that, we got to add in some water. I made sure to add just enough water so the sharpening wheels are just touching it. And then we went through each sharpening wheel one by one. The first one, the most coarse one, is repairing the edge. The second one is refining the edge. With the third and last sharpening wheel, polishing the edge and honing it even further. You can see the Dalstrong Hornet made a huge difference. However, I still recommend running the knife through some leather, just to get that razor sharp edge. I'm sure if I would have put more time into it, this thing would have been a samurai sword. Okay, so it did really well with Mr. Dull, a cheap knife. But do I dare try this thing on one of my really expensive Japanese knives, or maybe my Bob Kramer Carbon Steel? Those knives aren't going to be as bad as Mr. Dull, but I think they need some maintenance. Okay, it doesn't make sense to be using a Dalstrong sharpener without sharpening actual Dalstrong knives. So I have my Shogun series, and because it's already pretty sharp, we don't have to do the first stage. We can just go to number 2 and number 3. Next up is my favorite mass-produced chef knife, the Bob Kramer 2.0. This is a carbon steel knife. And then lastly, my handmade Japanese knife, which is also carbon steel. Once again, this knife is already really sharp. I'm just basically maintaining it. When it was all said and done, you can see it did a fantastic job. And taking a look inside, well, there's a lot of gunk in there. I wanted to put it all on a paper towel just so you can see exactly what the sharpener actually did. Now, some of this is metal, some of it is the sharpening stone, but clearly the Dalstrong Hornet did some work. I suspect a lot of this was probably from Mr. Dull. So what are my final thoughts? Look, if I'm being honest with you guys, yes, the Dalstrong Hornet did a really good job. Do I think it replaces traditional whetstones? No. I do think that if you really want to sharpen your knives and really restore them to perfection, this is the way to go. Just learn how to use whetstones properly, and it's actually kind of fun. Once you kind of get the hang of it, yes, I know you have to find the angle and things like that, but once you do, you'll actually enjoy it. I enjoyed it, at least. There's like a fine art to it, and it's sort of like, I don't know, calming and satisfying, just like with anything else where you're using your hands and you're restoring something, you're fixing it. You get a rush, right? This is a good product. It's not this product. This is garbage, but this actually has a lot of potential. If you want to sharpen something quickly and extend its life, then this is a good option. Or if for some reason you have absolutely zero interest in learning how to use one of these, then this is actually a good option. It worked really well with Mr. Dull. It worked really well with my Dalstrong knives, and even my really expensive handmade Japanese knives. I do recommend it. Coming in at 120 bucks though, it's a little pricey, but it's the only one on the market right now, at least that I can see, that actually has 3 sharpening wheels, and you can actually sharpen with water, right? That's pretty cool. So I will leave a link in the description of this video in case you're interested in buying a Dalstrong Hornet. Yes, I'm also going to leave a link in the description of this video for some whetstones. Now I'm going to try to find one that's kind of like a beginner friendly one to get your foot in the door, just in case you want to learn how to properly sand with some whetstones. That's it for me, guys. I hope you found this video informative. If you did, please consider subscribing and joining our channel memberships. I'll catch you in the next video.